have been into security systems, so I have kind of fair bit of understanding what it needs for a channels to be secure. I mean, in terms of encryption of systems plus digital certificates exchange when the session is on, and so the underlying security mechanism uh, with Zoom or anyone alike is quite similar, and there's no difference. There's not much of a difference. Uh, the compromise which we hear might have happened, and I'm using the might underline, might have happened with the compromise of the username and the passwords for some reason. Uh, but otherwise, intrusion wise, I don't think and I don't feel there is any reason to really worry about any of the intrusions or eavesdropping on coming and listening to the conversations. Uh, but also, primarily, let us understand what is the kind of security threat on it. First of all, let's understand clearly who we are. We are an education organization, and we are neither a NASA nor a financial corporation, nor government, nor any kind of espionage agency, nor police, nor army. I mean, who are we? We are talking about our normal things, which which will be of hardly any interest to somebody who can hack the whole system because of us and eavesdrop into us. Uh, that's very unlikely, and that's rather we are not the kind of typical person who would somebody come after, even if we believe that something might have happened or something may happen. So that kind of fear is straight away discarded, according to me. Second thing is about the hacking part, in which case I can really assure you that it's not hackable. Uh, what may have happened, what might have happened is purely the compromise of the username and the password, which doesn't mean anything to us. Therefore, really going by the news, whatever we hear and keep hearing on and often, I really don't think there is anything to worry about, or there is any panic which can create any kind of situation for us, or there's any kind of security threat which may be of any meaningful reference for the future. In terms of the guidelines, uh, the the part and the procedures are fairly straightforward, everyone. Uh, from now on, as a matter of caution only, what we do is we don't leave out the video calls with open links, that is without any password and without any meeting ID, just so that we are sure that whoever is even getting the link, he has to log in with proper username and ID, and therefore we would know that who is the person who has come in unauthorized for that matter, and everyone would know that these are the kind of known faces and known people only, and there is nobody from outside who has hacked in or eavesdropped into the system. These are the only kind of safety mechanisms. Uh, the rest, everything is very fringy and of no consequence, at least to us. Any comments, anyone?
No, sir, we agree.
Yeah, good evening, Maya Deshpande here.
Yeah.
So, yes, I have also gone through all the comments and the panic between the, you can say, users. But whatever the guidelines, I think those are applicable to all applications. I mean, before installing every application, asks you some permissions.
I would agree. That's precisely
So
the case.
they need your contact list. They need your access to storage. They need your access to camera, and then 2-3 security lapses are there, because just to make it easy, Zoom just provides a link, and anybody who clicks then the link, he gets inside the meeting.
Yeah.
That is the real problem. And we also face some problem while conducting the workshops from Bengaluru. So some of those who are not I mean, related to that workshop entered there, and they created some nuisance while conducting lectures. And later on, they started. Then it was a personalized invitation was sent, and that invitation was opened only if it is clicked through the mail. So any other, if it is shared or it is passed, now the today's meeting also, it is just shared. Now, if I shared it further, then anyone can join here.
Absolutely.
They
I
have
mean,
the link.
it's as good as you giving your own passwords to your banking password to somebody.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, people don't need anything more than that. So if everyone is cautious about not sharing it across, then it's fine. And even if unauthorized people do walk in, I don't think we are talking about anything of national consequence or some regional conflict or anything to do with religion.
So I have tried even Big Blue Button. I have tried WebEx. I have tried Team. I have tried Google Duo. So particularly the Team, I mean, somewhat critical. It is not so easy. I mean, just you go and click it and use it. So it
Yeah.
requires some kind of security and some kind of settings, and which are critical. That's why it is not easy and not liked by the users.
But Dr.
Even-
Deshpande,
Yeah.
Deshpande, thing is,
Hmm.
even in that system or any system for that matter, if you share the username and the password with anybody, anybody can walk into the same system. It applies to one and all actually. It's not
Yeah, yeah.
exclusive.
Yes. Then there were some kind of indications that sharing screens, even the whiteboard and everybody, all participants can share screens. So that may be the issue, because once they have access through the whiteboard, but it is a passive whiteboard, and I don't think objects are accessible. Those are just visible. But yes, there is some kind of
It
precautions
cannot
that
be
we have to
accessed,
take.
and the hyperlinks don't work on that. So it's purely a kind of
Visibility.
visual object only.
Okay. Fine. So I think we should not worry about it. Only we have to, take care of extra setting while scheduling the meeting. We have to open all, the menus and set the meeting. And it's most of the important is better to send personalized invitation. So if somebody enters in their email and from there only somebody clicks, then only can be the part of the meeting. Otherwise, if it is forwarded but from another email, if somebody tries to hook in, then it is not possible.
Yeah.
So that care we can take. Okay. But thanks for the, alerting all and to take more care about it.
Actually, sir, this meeting platform has all the necessary options already pre-installed. Right from ensuring that unverified person cannot join to stopping annotations, chat box, waiting room facility, everything is available. Actually, the host has got complete control over the audience. That is the audience which has to join. And again, the conduct of the audience can also be managed. And I think majority of our faculties are already using it. The only thing they have to strictly follow is one: they should not they should not open the waiting room for any reason whatsoever. They should ensure that the share option is only to host and nobody else, which is a click of a button affair. It's very simple. He should ensure that any non-verified person should not be able to enter into the meeting even in the waiting room, and that only requires, again, while making the meeting ready, a small click has to be made to ensure that unverified individual cannot enter. So a verified individual is one who has created the Zoom ID, has verified his email through that, and is using the same name which has been used to register the account. We have with us Nakul, one of our faculties who had been earlier also conducting these sessions. Nakul, you are there? You can hear us?
Yes, sir.
Nakul, you went through the document, the PDF document I shared?
Sir, not all of it, but yeah, I went through the key pointers.
Yeah, but we actually need those key pointers only. Some those which are there as graphics of what to do, what not to do. Can you
Yes,
list
sir.
out for us what we need to do so that we are also clear on this part?
But can we continue the discussions? I'll just jump in 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. You want to share screen?
No, I don't.
Okay,
See,
which document are you referring to, Nishant?
Actually, sir, what happened on the 12th of April 2020, government issued a press notification to its own department, government departments, of avoiding usage of Zoom for doing government meetings. And
Yeah, but I mean that is government, because
standard
there are
protocol.
so many kind of secret things going
Yeah,
on also there.
That's a standard protocol. They have their own video conferencing facility, but the problem with that facility is that you have to go to the video conferencing center where they have their own wide network through which you can do a very secured video conferencing, which all these collectors and chief ministers and prime minister and other ministers use. But what's happening specifically, Department of Commerce, Industry, Department of Finance, and even Ministry of Defense, many people were using Zoom because the other person is on field. He does not have access to those secured lines. So they issued a guideline stating that A, you should not use it. B, if you want to use it, then follow these instructions. What has happened is, sir, it seems that the newspapers have published a masala news all across the channels that government has banned using usage of Zoom, which is not the case.
Actually, the whole thing started because the government of Taiwan, and Taiwan are क्या बोलना चाहिए, India Pakistan wala story with the Chinese people. So Taiwan government has put a blanket ban on use of Zoom, and all these newspapers are picking up that information, adding it to our government advisory, and creating a chaos out of it.
I agree, sir.
So we don't even have to be careful. We have to just continue what we were doing. Nothing is going to happen. Nobody is going to.
And follow it more religiously. That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Somebody wants to jeopardize our classrooms. Somebody wants to ensure that we don't take classes. What nonsense is this?
Sir, I'm ready. If I may.
You can carry on. You can list out what is there in that PDF document.
Sir, actually, this document is released by the Cyber Coordination Center of Ministry of Home Affairs, and they have basically shared a few steps that everybody needs to follow to ensure that Zoom becomes more secure. And if we follow all these steps, then there should be no problems. So the first thing is that we have to necessarily create the waiting room. If anybody is using their Zoom application through the cell phone, even then you get an option to enable the waiting room option. So in any case, the Cyber Coordination Center is asking all the people who are hosting meetings to enable that waiting room so that unwanted participants do not enter the meeting. Besides this, there is this option called disabling join before host. So if you have shared a scheduled meeting link and if you don't check this option, then what happens is the student can enter or the participant can enter the meeting even before the host starts the meeting. So they have asked us not to do that, and वो ये वाला जो option है by default बंद ही रहता है. Besides this, another option that they have mentioned is that we have to go to the Zoom website, sign in to our accounts, and go into the settings panel, and then check the option where it is written that screen sharing by host only. So in this case, what will happen is that only the host will be allowed to share the screen, and nobody else will be allowed to share the screen. Another thing is that, and this is by default there, that if you remove a participant, they should not be allowed to join back again. So this is by default the setting in Zoom. If there's any participant that is creating a ruckus, then in that case we can remove that particular participant, and that participant will not be able to join from the same device again, but he can join from another device. But if somebody has been checked out because of any XYZ reason, then they wouldn't be able to enter the meeting again. Another thing is that in the settings panel on the Zoom website, we have to go and we have to also ensure that we disable the file sharing option. So file transfer, there's a file transfer option in the settings panel of Zoom on the website. We have to disable it because file transfer can cause security breaches. And another thing that they've mentioned is the restrictive use of recording feature. The restrictive use of recording feature does not mean that we shouldn't record our lectures or webinars. It simply means that we should not give others the permission to record it. So that permission can also be set from the settings menu on the website. Another thing, that if you are the administrator and if you are the host of the meeting, and if you are done with the meeting, you have to click on the end meeting, because when you click on the end meeting, there are two options that come up. One is end meeting for all, and the other is leave meeting. And if you leave the meeting, that means your meeting will still go on and participants will still be there. So the host has to ensure that he ends the meeting for all and clicks on that particular option. So these are some of the things that they've mentioned on this particular document.
So that was a very clear activity, and if you noticed, everything was meant for government offices, security places, strategy not being revealed, files not going from one place to another. It has no consequence to a kind of activity that we do.
Yes, I think Dr. Bajpayee, you're so correct. I think all the features which are being talked about are fairly generic, and therefore what it requires is a kind of proper understanding of it only, and use it in a way which is prescribed rather than leaving out some options open for discretion. So I think just regimentally follow it, and that's about it. There's nothing really to worry about.
But actually, the software is very interactive, and as Nishant sir already mentioned, that the host has all the control over the meeting.
Yeah.
So if the chat option is creating problems, you can disable the chat option during the meeting. If somebody is annotating, then you can restrict the annotations of the participants. You can also highlight the name of the annotator. So we have full control over the meeting. We just have to be more acquainted to the software. And
yeah, what I would suggest for the consideration of everyone is that just do some dry practice of using it within your groups for the purpose of making sure that you have understood it well. There's not a rocket science into it. It's just kind of small piece of software which is very easy and simple to use about it.
I ask faculties to ask question, any doubt that they have, and please ensure that necessary confidence amongst the student is maintained.
Yeah.
Sir, before we open the session for questions, I just need to add something. Please ensure that you read this document. There are various diagrams that have been made to show you the process of disabling or enabling the options that I've mentioned. So you will have to go on the Zoom website. Don't do it on your Zoom application. Go to the Zoom website and just follow the instructions or the diagrams that have been already shared in the PDF that was sent by sir. So if you do it, then you don't have to keep on doing these settings for every meeting. Otherwise, for every meeting, you'll have to keep on doing all these settings. If you change your default settings, then you just have to start your meeting and all the settings will be in place.
Okay, can you share the file through some mechanism, either here or by emails?
Sir, WhatsApp. I have it on my WhatsApp. Sir also has it. Nishant sir, maybe he can forward you.
There also option of sharing is there, like file option is there in chat.
I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Just a minute, sir.
I just need to ask somebody, and I mean, there are people who have been using it for long enough. Is there kind of an option which through which we can ensure that the videos of everyone is not open while the conference begins?
Sir, we can switch off all the videos, and actually switching off the videos is possible by the host, but switching them on depends on the will of the participant. So you can ask
that's
them
what
to
my
start their
question
video.
is.
Yeah.
Is there a kind of an option in which at the beginning itself all the videos are off and
Yes.
continue to be off?
Yes.
You can set
No,
that
continue to be off is their option.
But
Yes,
another decision we have to take now, being a Chinese application, whether we have to ban it, because there is appeal even from our authorities also that we should ban now all the Chinese the things, and so the software also. And
I have to find an Indian
See,
or
let me tell you
American.
this. The anti-Chinese feeling will become global very soon, and you never know. Zoom may be purchased by an American or an alternate solution which is as simple to use and as easy, but coming from a non-Chinese source may immediately come. But
Sir,
today,
actually, the source is not even Chinese. It is a Chinese person who emigrated from China to the Silicon Valley, who's made the software, Eric Yuan. So
yes,
Eric
and
Yuan is a Chinese national, but he doesn't stay in China. He's emigrated and he's a US citizen now.
and he migrated in 90s, in early 90s, and
Yes,
he was denied a visa in his first attempt.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, there are some servers which are hosted in China, and therefore there is this big worry. Taiwan is very particular. Taiwanese are sworn enemies to the Chinese, so the government of Taiwan has very categorically banned the use of Zoom because it has China in the loop. We whether we like it or not, currently almost 30% of our durable stroke non-durable activities, the very phone that we are using, the hardware for conducting this meeting, every one of it has been manufactured in China. 90% of all household items that are not grown in the ground are coming from China. So it will take a while. So Manoj bhai, yes, I agree with you. We have to go Desi and Swadeshi, and we have to get rid of this China syndrome sooner than later. But अपने फायदे से देखते हुए करेंगे, अपना नुकसान करके हम चाइना को बैन नहीं करेंगे.
So sir, I have
Sir,
shared.
we receive 5 lakh kids from China for corona.
इसीलिए बोल रहा हूँ वो फायदे की चीजें देख लेंगे.
Sir, I have shared on screen the notification. This is the document which was released along with the PIB notification on the 12th of April. It got circulated in the government by CM. Very recently this has happened. So basically, it's a pictorial description, page by page. It's a 16-page document on what needs to be done. But if you see, the objectives are very clear. I hope everybody can see.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
So setting new user ID and password for each meeting, that means they are saying do not use a recurring meeting kind of an affair. Every time create a new meeting. Enable waiting room. By default, Zoom in last 5-6 days has by default ensured that a waiting room is created. 3, disable join before host, what Nakul was saying. 4, allow screen sharing by host only. It is very simple. If you go to when Zoom is operating, if you go on the share screen button, उसके बगल में ऑप्शन स्क्रीन खुलती है, उसमें आप डाल सकते हो कि होस्ट ही करेगा. दूसरा, ये सेम ऑप्शन आप बाय डिफॉल्ट अपने उसमें भी डाल सकते हो. मीटिंग को जब आप सेट करते हो ना, तो सेटिंग में भी डाल सकते हो. Disabling allow remove participant to rejoin. Once you have removed the participant, then he cannot rejoin. इसको ऑप्शन को आपको चूज करना लगेगा. Again, it's an option which is already present. इसको आपको
It is present by default, sir.
He clicks on waiting room.
है ना. Restricting, disabling file transfer. So this is the option. जैसे आप चैट बॉक्स और फाइल ट्रांसफर का ऑप्शन को क्लोज कर दोगे तो वो बंद हो जाएगा. आप में से बहुत सारे फैकल्टीज ऑलरेडी इसको यूज कर रहे हो. And finally, locking the meeting. I have always been saying this that मीटिंग स्टार्ट होने के आपने जो जैसे टाइम शेड्यूल किया अपने लेक्चर का, उसके 10 मिनट के बाद 5 मिनट के बाद मीटिंग को लॉक कर दो. जो स्टूडेंट को ज्वाइन करना है वो कर लेगा, जिसको निकलना है वो निकल लेगा. हम बाय डिफॉल्ट सारी मीटिंग्स को रिकॉर्ड करके वैसे ही अपने चैनल पे डालें, तो फिर उसका कोई नीड नहीं है. रिस्ट्रिक्टिंग द रिकॉर्डिंग फीचर, वैसे भी ये रिस्ट्रिक्टेड है. कोई भी आपका रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं कर सकता जब तक कि आप उसे परमिट नहीं कर दें. तो ये भी बाय डिफॉल्ट है, पर सेटिंग्स में जाके चेक कर लीजिए इसको. एंड फाइनली एंड द मीटिंग. एज नकुल वाज सेइंग, डू नॉट लीव द मीटिंग. इफ यू आर द होस्ट, एंड इट. उससे ये हो जाएगा कि मीटिंग रूम ओपन नहीं रहेगा. और इन्हीं 9 पॉइंट्स को डिस्क्राइब करते हुए ये सारा का सारा पेज है कि कहां से कौन सी चीज को आप कैसे सेट कर सकते हो. I have already shared this PDF with you on the WhatsApp group. And I think the directors, honorable directors in this meeting also have this through the common WhatsApp group that we share.
एक मुझे भेज देना निशांत, can you send it to me?
Yeah, I will send it to you also, sir.
Okay, I have a question here,
Sir.
and anybody who has kind of better understanding can answer this. I was talking to somebody, and that person said that the host of the meeting, or the person who has created the account, the call for the meeting can be given by only 3 devices which have been used around by that particular person, and not by everyone around. I mean, everyone around cannot be a host.
But the host rights can be transferred. After the meeting has started, you can transfer your host right to somebody else.
No. Let me just qualify my question again. I am trying to say that if I've created an account and if I want you to use it, there is a kind of restriction on that, because it identifies only 3 devices around me. Maybe my phone, laptop, and another PC around me. So every time that you or somebody else has to use my account, you have to request me to initiate the meeting.
Yes.
Sir, actually, there are 2 types of Zoom accounts. One is for the corporates, so corporate account, and one is a personal account, like Nishant sir has a premium account right now. So what happens is they have created this restriction on the premium accounts owned by individuals, because otherwise individuals will buy the account and they will use it for corporate purposes. And the cost of the corporate account is very high as compared to the individual account. So individual account is somewhere around 1100 or 1200 rupees, the cost. And for the corporates, it's much higher. It's more than 50 times of that amount. So that is why they created this restriction. So it will identify 3 devices, and it can be your cell phone, your tablet, and your PC or your laptop. And only these 3 devices will be able to start the meeting. Now what happens is, even if you are an individual and if you want to use it for corporate purpose, the person who has the account, he will have to start the meeting, and then he can transfer the host rights to someone else, and then he can lead the meeting. So the meeting will go on, and we have tried this because Nishant sir had shared the link, and we were conducting a webinar wherein sir had some work, so he had to leave, and still the webinar was going on because he had transferred the host rights to me. But you are right, there is a restriction of 3 devices for any individual who's operating a Zoom Premium account.
Okay, so that's a kind of serious problem, because if you want to create a central body which manages all Zoom accounts and creates
multiple meeting schedules.
But that's a problem, because I mean, if we were to do that, then
there's a corporate package where you have got ability to have 100 multiple hosts at the same time.
Okay, and another question, again open for answer from anyone, is that webinar is a different thing than doing a meeting, and so the webinars account has to be taken on top of the meeting account.
No, sir. Actually, we can use the meeting account to conduct the webinar, and we have been doing that with Department of Law. We've uploaded a few videos also. If you want, you can check them out. So what happens is that if you have a premium account like Nishant sir has, so he is the one who schedules all the webinars that are going to be conducted in Department of Law. And the number of there is no restriction on the number of participants. Also, what we end up doing is that if there are 70-80 participants or students attending the webinar, we mute them all so that there is no background noise for the speaker, and we ask them to share their questions on the chat option. And if the person who's delivering the webinar wants to talk to the student, we only unmute that particular student. So
yeah, see, Saurabh, sorry.
Nakul, sir, Nakul.
Oh, sorry, Nakul. Thing is, the only difference between a kind of webinar and a meeting, a Zoom meeting, is that in a Zoom meeting, everyone's videos are open. I mean, you can mute the chat. I mean, you can mute the mic, but you cannot turn off all the videos at one at a time?
No, no, it can be.
Sir, the videos can be turned off, and if you want, before the meeting only, you can enable the setting wherein you don't let the participants open their videos. But what we promote is that they should open their videos, because the person who's delivering the webinar, they would also like to see the people who are attending his webinar. So our students wear formals to all the webinars, and we end up ensuring that their cameras are on, so that the person who's delivering the webinar or the guest who's delivering the webinar is able to see all the students.
Yeah, but
And it is also very necessary.
who has the control of it? I mean,
The
does
host.
the host have the control of
Yeah, the
unmuting
person.
the mic and
Yes,
and
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, what happens is
no,
Nishant
I'm
schedule will-
talking about the camera. I'm talking about the camera.
So, like I said, the camera can be switched off before the webinar starts or the meeting starts. And if you want to switch them on in between, you can ask the person to switch on their camera. Like Nishant sir can right now
Okay,
ask me to start my camera.
so control is still with the person who is viewing, right?
Yeah, but there is a restriction on this control. They cannot compulsorily switch on the camera. So Nishant sir can ask me to switch on the camera, but I can deny that right now. But he can switch off my camera if he wants.
So is there a button by using a single click I can switch
Yes, sir.
off the video cameras of
I will
everyone?
show you how it can be done.
Yes.
So now your video is stopped, but I cannot
So
switch it
that's
off.
individual. That's individual again.
I can-
I'm saying
Yeah.
all.
No, sir. In that case, before starting the meeting, you have to go to a setting wherein the camera option should be switched off for everyone, because this particular option by one click for everyone is not available.
That's what. And even before meeting, switching off the cameras, there is no option available on that as well.
No, sir. Before the meeting, you can click on the option. There's this option. I don't know if I remember it verbatim, but it is something like disallow participants from opening their camera or something related like that.
Yes, there is an option when you set the meeting.
Yes.
Can you recheck and come back to me on that?
Yeah, we will take a screenshot of it and share it with you on your WhatsApp.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, but still, what I suggest that depending upon need, we have to use the different tools. Now, this is meeting tool actually, where we want to see faces of each other. Then we want live conversation with each, and if we want, the live questions. But webinar is different kind of thing. When the speech is going on, so there even Twitter and where we need more participants to attend it. So,
Yeah, and we don't want anyone to really interfere in the process.
and if somebody wants to ask question, there is also option, and it is very well controlled also.
Certainly, sir. Dr.
Sir, we had a webinar by Advocate Ashani very recently from Ahmedabad, and she told us that she doesn't want to be interrupted. So what we ended up doing was that we asked the students to write their doubts in the chat box. Ma'am could also read the chat box. Once she was done with the whole webinar, she took all the questions that were asked, and then she answered all the students. And if the students were still not,
It's very safe. Twitter is safe, and then you can scale it up even up to thousands and 5,000 can attend it.
Yes, sir. In the webinar space that Dr. Patni was referring to as an add-on purchase, n number of people can join. And all these options, control options, are predetermined in it. But then it is an add-on cost. Today we are having 50 or 100.
That's $40. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, sir. If you want to go for a corporate account, the cost is something like, for example, if we are 100 faculties in Prestige, and if you want to give all the faculties the right to host their own meetings using that corporate account, so the cost is $20 per month per host, which comes down to $2,000 a month.
Yeah, that's the package, Nakul. That's the $2,000 package we are talking about.
No,
Yeah, but
sir,
our
it's
purpose is served,
it's absolutely dependent on the number of hosts.
even we use Twitter and we want to reach out with many participants. So like AICT and MIC, they are conducting daily. So 2,000-3,000 participants are attending daily. And as Dr. Bajpai said, that director has to now conduct webinars to their prospective students. And for that, I don't think Zoom is suitable. So even we can just share, plan it on Twitter also, and there also we can have limited interaction. So we should not use Zoom for the webinars, and only for limited faculty meetings, and even limited classes for 60 students and 50 students. Zoom is
Incidentally, I have one in short on one of the groups about a webinar taking place tomorrow around 3 o'clock. And this is going to be a very interesting one. I know some of the speakers in there. And this is something which is an end-to-end education software based webinar. So,
yeah,
so
5:30.
5:30. Yeah. So that's one thing I would like to attend, and I think anybody who is interested to know about it, Sanjeev, I would definitely like कि आप उसको attend करिए,
Sure,
because
sure.
this will help us in designing that entire LMS कह लो या पूरा university management system कह लो.
Sure.
Not only revamping from the ACC soft that we were talking of, but also looking at the university which is forthcoming. We will need to have something there completely afresh without any legacy systems. So this webinar which is
I would
happening,
love to.
this webinar which is happening tomorrow will be very, very useful. Very useful.
Certainly.
So any faculty having any doubt on the security aspects, please ask a question now. We don't want you to pass over any of your doubts as potential potential issue in the minds of the be confident that you are using a very safe platform, and use the tools which have been recommended. They are very simple. Kindly follow them and there will be no trouble. And please pass this on to your students also. They should not be worried about these security issues, which are incidentally not there.
Nakul, can you share me your mobile number?
Yes, sir. I'll send it to you on the chat right now.
Okay.
Okay, but we can try any other options also.
We should be.
Yeah, a big blue button is a kind of good option.
WebEx. We are using WebEx. So Saurabh sir is there, and
See, Google and Microsoft both have platforms.
Yeah.
Both will want to compete with Zoom, because today Zoom is #1 hands down. It has beaten all its competitors flat on the floor. There, if today's video conferences and meetings are happening, 99% are happening on Zoom. Whether it is in United States, or it is in Australia, or it is in India, or it is in China, every